Hello everybody, thanks for joining me today for a double treat that I'm gonna give this philodendron, camposportoanum. Now, don't blame the plant for this incredibly or annoyingly difficult name. It can't help it that someone named it after a certain Dr. Campos Porto, a Brazilian botanist. Now, this is episode 7 in my ongoing series about growing epiphytes on epiphytes, a series for those who love to take cuttings of their houseplants, but don't always have the space to grow the cuttings once they have rooted. Since I am a prominent member of this club myself, I will hit two birds with one stone today. Not literally, of course, I would never harm a bird, but you can see that this philodendron has clearly outgrown the sad little stick that I gave it and is craving for something taller to hang on to. So first I will give it a moss pole, and after that I'll add some extra plant friends in the soil to keep this philodendron company. Now here you see a picture of the same plant on the day I received it, which was actually only 4 months ago. I paid 25 euros for it, I think, and you can see how much it has grown since it arrived at my place. Now I will first repot the plant in this somewhat Spanish looking painted clay pot, and it does have a drainage hole, which is always a big plus. I also made a fresh batch of my magic arrowed soil that by now contains more ingredients than your average tiramisu, and I bought the biggest moss pole I could find in my city to attach this philodendron to. And I think this moss pole is more or less 1,60 m high, so I would say that should do the trick. And of course I forgot one final ingredient. I will need some of this Velcro tape too. Now let's get into the repotting. Now I wanna say that I'm halfway there by now, and I can tell you that repotting this plant just by myself without breaking it is definitely no walk in the park. So I gotta tread carefully, easy does it, but I'll get there sooner or later. In the end, it took me more than half an hour to do the repotting, but here you can see the result of my hard labor. I repotted the plant and I gave it a huge moss pole, and I gotta say that I'm pretty happy with the result. It definitely took quite a bit of time to get the plant attached to the pole, but here we are. Now, this plant is clearly mocking me because I realize now that the plant has actually already outgrown the moss pole before even getting attached to it. As you can see, once the camera reached the top right there it is. So that's what I call an unfortunate event. But anyway, I hope that all these massive aerial roots will grow towards the moss pole. At least that is the whole idea. Now, this is not the end of the story. I still got a second treat for this plant, remember, which is adding a whole bunch of cuttings of other epiphytes in the soil to keep this philodendron company. And since I got so many cuttings, I'm gonna really go to town with this pot and stuff as many cuttings in there as possible. It might get a bit overcrowded, but that's okay, since probably not all the cuttings I put in there will eventually make it. So let me do some Sophie's choice and choose the cuttings for this pot. Okay, so clockwise you can see first of all a 3-leaf cutting of a Monstera adansonii. Then we got a 1-leaf cutting of a Rhaphidophora tetrasperma. We got some Cebo blue at the bottom of the screen. On the left we have a Philodendron silver sword, and to the right some Philodendron Brazil. I also added this cutting of a Philodendron Florida green, and finally a Philodendron red emerald cutting close to the moss pole. So here we got the end result. We got one main epiphyte, which is the Philodendron camposportoanum, and we got 7 different smaller types of other epiphytes, and the idea here is that they will all compete together, growing up the moss pole to create one big hot mess of epiphytes. Okay, so this is the spot that I chose for all these plants to live. Close to a window, but also close to a growing light to get them started on their way up the moss pole. I will make an update video in like 6 months, I think, to show you the progress that all these guys made since I put them together in the pot. Right, so that's all for today. If you enjoyed the video, or if you want to see the update video that I will make, please consider liking and subscribing to my channel. I wish you a very nice day for now. Bye bye.